That's right. A lot of women today, they don't appreciate heft.
Welcome to another episode of The Boyd, coming to you live from the Shop Studios here in Jacksonville, Florida, part of Duval County. Shout out to Duval, where I reside at the moment. Those of you that might be joining on Facebook Live, please follow the link to YouTube because you could be hearing Seprock Beats title track that I have that is the theme song to The Boyd. I don't recall what the track name is. It's just called Intro in my playlist. It is on his I think it's his latest album called Beat Tape Side B, and I mean it's like A through D. It's a 2-disc volume. Yeah, if you hey to producer TJ, if you want to grab the what were you saying? Are you talking about the camera? Oh, yeah, sure. Actually, I have the vinyl, too. I can show you. I'm going to boost Seprock Beats. What, the vinyl? Yeah, the cover's right up there. But yeah, go ahead and turn the camera on. The folks out there.
That's right.
Man, we have boys. Look at it. Yes. That's crazy. Better get my power from there. And thus, this will have no power. Those of you who are joining us on Facebook Live, come on to the YouTube channel so you can hear. Yeah, so you can hear the Seprock beats, and the audio quality and all sorts of stuff is better. I mean, because everything's coming off my phone on the Facebook Live feed, but everything else on the YouTube feed is actually through a high quality microphone. Right now it's an omnidirectional microphone for you audio nerds and podcast freaks out there. Whoa. Here is Seprock Beat Tape Side A through Side B. It's really it's a 2-disc vinyl set. It's awesome. All the beats that are on the Boyd are actually Seprock Beats. So you guys should peep it out. It's on Sinking City label. Sinking City Records. Yeah, Sinking City Records. There you go. All right, guys. Dope. Way dope. So we haven't really been taking breaks and stuff. Maybe we should take breaks. I don't know. No one's really watching for any really long length of time anyway. So it's sort of just for show, but we might just showcase some Seprock beats during some quote unquote breaks.
Well, not?
Why not? Because maybe I'll just randomly play them. All right. So for those of you that are joining in, this is another episode of The Boyd. There's a lot to talk about. No guests tonight. If you want to be a guest on The Boyd, just PM me. Let me know. Email me. There's different ways to get in touch. You know, we're connected somehow right here. So by whatever way, hook or crook that you are watching, there's a way to get in touch with me. Let me know if you want to be on The Boyd. All you got to do is you can Skype in. I don't even remember my Skype login. No. So, I mean, if you really want to do it that way. Facebook, I believe that should work. You can Facebook call Facebook. I mean, that way we can live chat. The audio might be tricky, maybe not. It might be fine. I think it'll be fine. Let's try it. If you have a question, or if you want to comment about something, get in touch live. It's more fun that way. Facebook, we can try. I know we've got producer TJ. We do have a tab up for Facebook. Can we monitor the live feed? I've only got a live feed on Facebook for like another 10 minutes or so. And then you should really follow the link to the Boyd Podcast on YouTube. I will be featuring edited cuts. If anybody's out there that's bored and wants to edit some content, I know there's no such thing, but if there are some raw Boyd episodes out there that probably should be cut down. I think what?
Look at those comments.
Oh, look at this. Hey, that's right. You got to get the door. Hey, get the door. What's up, Teef? Teef. He's a cool guy. I haven't seen him in a minute. Who else is there? Oh, yeah, Jake. Oh, God, he wants a freestyle. That's an interesting topic. You know, that reminds me of, if you guys aren't listening to Chapo Trap House, that is a political kind of podcasting. If you guys are into politics and into history, those guys get a little nerdy about it. They also like trap and hip hop in general. They were talking about some various critiques. Check it out. But they were talking about these guys in down, and maybe if you know anything about it, comment please. And I heard that it's easier to comment live on YouTube, so please follow the link to YouTube so you could do that. But there's I don't know, these rich folks that are I don't know, out in Silicon Valley, whatever you want to call it, these tech people. They're making money. Something's happening. I don't know what they're doing, but they're out there making money. And I don't know if they feel bad about stuff or what, but they need like these spiritual things. And they have like this, oh my God, I got to read this article. It seems so weird. It was like this lady that is like it's sort of like going to yoga, but it's not. It's like a spiritual thing. It's not church. I don't know. Anyway, she basically has these people talk about their feelings about whatever's going on with them. And then she'll like bust out in song. And the way they described it was like Joan Baez freestyle rapping to like something at Davos. Like, it doesn't make sense, but it's just like, I don't know. So busting into a freestyle, I have mixed feelings about that. It would be interesting to freestyle about my feelings about that. But then that would be so ironic. My head might explode. But I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. Maybe someone with some dope skills can bust a freestyle and post it as a comment. That'd be quite dope.
The Boyd Challenge.
Right. Yeah, talk of this. First freestyle about current events. An actual freestyle, not writtens. But no, I respect writtens though. That's the thing. I critique a lot of MCs on not being able to freestyle, and some of them refuse altogether to freestyle. And I'm like, you know, you got at least a little bit of freestyle. But then I haven't been writing, so they could critique me and say, oh, you freestyle this and that, but you haven't written anything. I don't know. But then when I write stuff down, it makes me feel, I feel like, I don't know. It feels sort of dorky. Producer TJ, do you ever feel that way? Going back and reading over some of your rhymes, you're like, that's sort of a dorky line.
Not particularly. I look back and I'm like, oh, wow, I've grown. I've changed. It's
grow and change.
And like, I like to listen to the old stuff.
Yeah, no doubt.
Wow, there was a lot of anger there.
Oh.
And, you know,
there was a lot of anger in your early works.
It's a lot. And then like it's just, it was just memory lane.
Memory lane.
Like, I remember feelings that I felt at the time of writing. I don't consider it dorky or anything like that. It's fun for me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see that. I don't know. Some of you guys out there, I'm sure. I think a lot of people. Do you think most people have taken a venture at creating some kind of music, writing a song, or doing some kind of something like that?
Yeah, I think everybody, not everybody, but excuse me, a lot of people want to express themselves, and they do it, in their chosen format, and pretty sure a lot of people like to write raps, at least poetry or stories. People are just writing.
Yeah.
It's easier to, well, I mean, like, you can get a lot of shit out without having to actually interact with somebody.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. Oh, it's me. Yeah. As far as having like almost being therapeutic.
Yeah.
Like having some catharsis, I guess, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard the same, and yes, I've experienced the same. But still, I think a lot of times, I mean, what am I trying to say? Sort of battle with this idea of, I guess, even what like the idea of being an artist in whatever certain field or genre of artistry.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when you claim that you have sort of a certain, like, I don't know, like something to if you're making a claim, like, you have to show and prove, you know what I'm saying? If you say I'm a painter, then you got to be able to paint something. You know what I mean?
So if I'm walking down the street and I tell you I'm a painter, and well, paint something. Like, I'm just supposed to paint something?
I don't know. I feel like it depends on who you're talking to. Like, if KRS-One was a painter, he'd be like, yeah, if you're a painter, you should be able to paint anytime, any place. You should be able to just be able to paint it. Something.
I mean, but like, what if you just?
I mean, you said that about MCs,
What if you just walk to the store to get some milk or something?
It doesn't matter.
You didn't bring your.
Like, if someone came up with an easel and like brush and some kind of medium of color, I mean, or black ink or whatever, colored ink, like, I don't know. I think that would be an interesting thing, like, people don't, like, instead of a freestyle challenge, you have like a freestyle paint challenge or something.
I mean, I feel you, but like
I mean, like, if someone's gonna compose, like, if you're a composer, like, yo, compose some shit. Here's like 10 minutes. Like, I guess it's not quite the same.
Like, I'm not your clown.
Or right, like, exactly, right.
I just came out.
But like, I don't know. Like, I feel like to some degree, like, if you're an MC, like, if you say you're an MC, that you should. There's certain, I guess. Don't you think there's certain things that denote you as the thing? Like, I mean, if you're a painter and you don't, like, at what point, I guess, can you just call yourself a painter? I guess. I mean, it sounds like a stupid question, but maybe it is a stupid question.
You're a painter.
Yeah.
I mean,
to whatever level, I guess, right? I mean,
that's more you.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know where I don't even know. I'm not even really. I don't even know where this conversation even came from.
Like I said, not you.
I hadn't really thought too much to even talk about this topic specifically, but it reminds me of the book by Steven Pressfield. For those artists out there who have questioned their art or have some kind of writer's block or artistic block of some sort. Steven Pressfield, The War of Art, not The Art of War by Sun Tzu, The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. He also wrote like The Legend of Bagger Vance or something like that, and whatever that guy's name is. I didn't read the book of that. Mm-hmm. I just read the other book, The War of Art. My friend Nelson actually hipped me up to that book, And, you know, he really talks about this idea that as an artist, you have something unique. This muse is what the Greeks called it. This connection, right, with some ethereal plane, this some other, you know, like when you, like, let's talk about a painter, you know, sometimes they paint from like some vision that they have, an imagination or something, or like an architect has a vision, or Kanye says he could visualize in his own way a beat or a pattern, an auditory pattern. And so I think people who, or like if you're really good at sports or math or whatever it is, it could be anything. You might have this sort of muse, this gift to connect with some plane that, you know, you don't necessarily, it's almost like, especially when you get the best, supposedly, a lot of not athletes, but like artists or people who, I guess, connect with this so-called muse. A lot of times they do it when they're not really engulfed in the real world in the current time. They have to like almost escape to a meditation or like this dream state, and then come back with this vision, or in like this not affliction, but like something in their mind. And for those of you that have had these flashes of inspiration, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you that haven't, then, I mean, some people, I guess, don't have that muse, and to that point, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, some people don't, I think. What do you think, TJ? Do you think there's some people that have like zero, like, creative connection to like what I'm talking about, like that idea, that Greek, I mean, I'm just reinterpreting what I got from Stephen Pressfield about the Greeks' idea of a muse communicating through the artist from an ethereal kind of plane. And that's where the inspiration comes, because if it was of this world, then it would have already been invented. So, or thought of. Whatever new thing that the muse helps create has to be from something new out of this world, in a way, is what the idea was. You know what I mean?
I get it.
Mm.
I get what you're saying.
Do you think there's some people that have zero connection to like what you would consider like a muse, or do you feel like you have a muse, sort of like this connection to like an ethereal plane where you get your ideas from?
I do, because there's things that just pop up in there, and it's like, whoa, where'd that come from? So yeah, I absolutely believe that I do. I mean, that's really sad if someone doesn't have that kind of connection.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think everybody has some kind of art of some sort?
I would hope so. Like, that's really sad, thinking that somebody wouldn't have that ability to be creative in some kind of way.
Yeah, I mean,
sad.
I mean,
it's something that I enjoy, and
sure,
you know, it makes me sad thinking that there may be a person who doesn't have.
Well, I mean, I guess everything. I mean, anything can be sort of turned into an art, really. Depends on what it is.
So if somebody doesn't have one, have something to turn into art, that's sad to me.
So Jake put some comments into the Facebook stream. For those of you guys that are watching on Facebook Live, I would switch over to the YouTube stream so you can hear the Seprock Beats tracks and whatnot. Looks like we've got a couple folks watching, and we didn't want to hear freestyle. I don't know how that would work. I wonder if the audio would work on if we put on a beat. How something like that would work. He's really all about freestyle. You know, I feel like you would have to call in and freestyle too. I don't want to freestyle alone. I want to cipher. You know what I mean? I don't like to just be a one-man show. So either you need to record something and post it, or better yet, Facebook Live or whatever, Messenger, whatever you call it. whatever the millennials call it. You know, millennials are like in their 30s. Like the oldest millennials, like 38 or 37. I'm 40, so they made a whole new slot just for me in like a couple years around my age, which is the Xlennials. Denoted because of our familiarity with the internet as we came of age into like consciousness, into society, knowing about the internet. But only a couple years before that, you've already had come to sort of like consciousness into society. Like internet was something you would have to rediscover or want to purposely discover in a way. I remember growing up with it in 9th grade that we had internet. I think even 8th grade. Netcrawler, web crawler, Netscape, web crawler. All right, so Facebook Live folks, go to the YouTube channel. That way you can hear Receproc beats and have better audio, just in case. And I think my phone's going to die anyway. All right, so, yeah, Jay, Josh. Oh, Joshua Moore. Dang, there's more than one person asking for freestyle here.
Okay. It's Jake and Josh.
Yeah, no doubt. Look at that. Like I said, though, I don't want to freestyle alone. I'd much rather cipher. But we could do something like that. We toyed with that idea of throwing on some beats or something like that. Let's see. What was it? You know, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, the Muse thing. Yeah, it would be sad but I was going to say anything can be turned into an art, though. Like, I've seen a video about these guys that pound mochi. And you got to consider that art, the way these... If you've never seen it, there's like some Great Big Story channel. Go look up Great Big Story. And I think there's a thing about the mochi guys in Japan. I mean, they're smacking around this mochi. And the way that they do it is like you have to consider the art. It's like this synchronization. I don't know who made it up. They choreographed it. But it's amazing. And so that even in of itself is art. So I guess a muse helped with that or made them really good at remembering how to do the thing that whoever taught them how to do it. I don't know. Whatever. Comment on that. Folks out there, back in the day, first episode, I think I asked the question, if you were to define an amazing person, an outstanding person, how would you define that person? Or is there an example? And then I sort of cautioned that I probably wouldn't believe your answers because would they be twisted by social norms? Would you be putting people and values and these things in there because that is what you would want to publicly represent? Or is that what you really felt? I don't know. Either way, I don't think anyone put any comments anyway. So put something down. It would be nice to get something to go off of because I think it makes a lot of sense and connects to what I feel like is a current sort of like there's a craziness going on. I think a lot of people that I talk to feel like something weird's happening. A lot of people are really bent out of shape about a lot of things. I mean, I'm posting all sorts of like inflammatory stuff on purpose to piss people off. Why would I do that? I don't know. And I don't even know if it's pissing people off. I think most of them have unfriended me by now that do get really pissed off. If they're getting pissed off, they're not commenting. They used to comment. People don't really comment anymore. And that's what this show was sort of made to do, so we could talk about it. If I posted something inflammatory and it pissed you off, let's talk about it on the podcast. You can even just bring it up and I will talk about it. So I know I do owe somebody an explanation about something. And I said, look, I'll talk about it on the podcast. And it was about school shootings and stuff like that. And I said, look, it's a complex answer for a complex problem. First of all, we got to fix Americans. What does that mean? We got to figure out what kind of people are we supposed to be? Are we what is it? What if you were going to define American values? What are American values? What even is that? Is there a definition for that, TJ? Producer TJ?
I don't know.
What does it even mean, American values?
I don't know that. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I haven't the slightest idea what that could mean.
I feel like there's people out there that would be vehemently standing here telling me what American values are, but at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of folks that are like, feel just like producer TJ, like, I don't know, whatever, I don't know. What are American values? And then we got to think, like, what kind of world do we even want? Like, what would you even want to live in? Like, what would you visualize for your kids? And I don't even know. I don't have kids, but like, what do people with kids visualize for their kids? You know, and are they working towards that? Do you think we're getting there? And what is that? Can we define that? Does anybody even know? Like, some people, I feel like, are afraid to even talk about it because they think we're gonna like try to plan society. But at the same time, if we don't think about it, someone else is planning society for us, and it might not be to our advantage. In fact, why would they do it to our advantage? I'm pretty sure they would do it to their advantage.
And profits.
Exactly, and that's what's happening. And I think everybody's been struck with this like contradictory idea. Can you turn the fan on? I forgot to turn it on. You can turn that fan on over there if you want to.
Come.
Doing all right?
Mm-hmm.
We're in Duval County in the middle of the summer, and the AC is out in the shop studios. So we're doing the best we can. So I'm trying to get this fan feels better already. But yeah, I think that's what's missing. We don't know. I think it's, I don't even know. Do we have to take a poll? I think we wouldn't even know a lot of things. Like what kind of country are we supposed to have? What kind of people are we supposed to be? How are we supposed to behave? Are we supposed to behave like the president? Are we supposed to behave like a spiritual leader? Are we supposed to behave like who are model citizens that we could point children to and be like, yo, grow up like this dude, or grow up like this lady? I mean, I don't even know. I mean, that's I think one of the biggest problems we have. And what should that even be? Is the next question. I mean, I think those are fundamental questions, because like, how are we supposed to know anything? You know, it's like anytime, I think this is something we can agree on, like even me and Jordan Peterson could agree on this idea that if you have a goal, I mean, if you have a place you're trying to be, like you're trying to go to point B, and here you are stuck at point A, you have to visualize what point B is. And it's like, we're afraid to even ask the question, what should point B look like? What kind of world should we have? And what does that look like? And I think people are like all over the place with their answers. Or they're making up shit, and then they make up stuff based on what they define themselves, in whatever caricature they define themselves as not being. Like, I'm not a fascist right-wing person, or I'm not a libtard liberal, or something. Like they as much define themselves by what they aren't, in fact even more, I believe, than what they really are. And made up stuff, and then that way they can make up this other half that's also made up, because it's the emphasis of whatever made up crap is on the other side. And so there's a lot of stuff that's structurally the same, but there's made up caricatures of what's going on either side. The fact that there's no real side, part of it's really class. It's like, are you the shitted upon, or are you the one that's extracting from? You know what I mean? It's like, do you have employees that you get to get some money, extra money off of, or not? And are you working for someone else? And there are some great employers out there. Don't get me wrong. I wish that they would take the lead and spread their greatness among all employers. But there's definitely a rash of bad employers that are out there that are really trying to extract what they can from the people, knowing that the market is such that they can do the extraction. And that's just something that I think we're all living under. People are getting pressurized. The pressure's getting, I mean, it's like a pot, it's like a pressure cooker. The more pressure that builds, the faster it cooks. And the more pressure that continues to build, the more temperature, which creates more pressure. And it just builds and builds and builds. And you have to modulate that. And I think there's a point where we're going to see fractures within our society if we keep doing this. And we're going to see things get bad again. We've already been there once in our history a long time ago. And I don't know. It's like we're doomed to repeat it, because nobody wanted to listen to history class, because they never really talked about what matters. They never talked about the worker strikes that often. Or even then, when you're a kid, you didn't even know what that meant. But then as an adult, you really don't understand the power you have as a worker when you combine with other workers. And then we've been conditioned, so many people have been conditioned to think like, oh, that kind of talk is bad, because they've been conditioned to believe that, I guess, because there was some crony shit that happened with unions a long time ago or some shit. It's like, yeah, look, we have to have vigilance over power. Right? The price of liberty is eternal vigilance. It's vigilance over power. It's not vigilance over like some mysterious line in the sand. It's not your campsite and you got to keep it vigilance. That's bullshit. That is hijacked by the, that phrase was hijacked by the military industrial complex. It's straight up and down. That's all it is. It's vigilance over power. We can have liberty. We have to watch power in all of its forms. It's government form. It's corporate form. It's any kind of form. It could be private. Corporate. Anything. It could just be oligarchs. It could just be rich people. It doesn't even have to be a corporation. It could be a rich person that decides that their gravitational pull is such that they should get shit their way. That's fucked up. That's capitalism, though. That is when we're talking about capitalism, that's what we're talking about. When you have a mass conglomeration of capital, and that capital has an ability to distort space-time and labor time, basically, lifetime around it, so that shit works in its way and it just sucks more in and it becomes more and more dense. And it grows and feeds on itself. And it's happening all around the world with different specific groupings of capital. And it's not like Illuminati shit. It's like real shit. And when capital can control the lives that are in its wake, that is capitalism. We're not talking about a free market anymore. We're talking about the ability of capital to bend space-time around it, meaning it bends governments, it bends local law enforcement, it bends local politicians, it bends local people. It can do whatever it wants. It could create a paramilitary force. It could buy governments. It could do whatever. Enough capital can do whatever. This. Whatever the fuck you want if you have enough money. So who's to say if you had more money than anybody ever in the entirety of Earth, in the history of Earth ever, even if you and 5 other people combined had similar money, what would that be like? I mean, could we even fathom that? Would you even look at these normal people as even like, would you even give a fuck? Number one, you have to think about these things because there are people that are there. It's not Illuminati shit. It's not Alex Jones shit. This is real shit. Like this is like, I don't know. I mean, there's real people making real crazy money that run banks, that run shit like massive corporations, that are on the boards of massive corporations. They can determine how shit goes. They keep a pulse on things, and as they see people getting more and more riled up, they decide whether or not they want to turn the spigot one way or another. Can they escape to Mars or not? Can we fuck them over like super hardcore and then find our way to making a better place? Because that's like the new plan, right? Is to fuck the Earth and like escape to Mars. That's what the rich people want to do. Did you know that, producer TJ?
I didn't.
Yeah, that's the new plan. Make as much money as you can and then fucking move to Mars.
Huh.
Fuck America. I mean, fuck the world. Start over again. Elysium shit. Just fuck it.
You can't just go to Mars.
I mean, I don't like. We are no better than fucking.
We're dumb.
Yeah, we're no better than fucking like the fungus on a fucking piece of bread. Talk about an existential crisis. Like, no matter how much shit you do in life, whatever you do, whatever you accomplish, even if you make shit, like what could you do? You would have to change capitalism. You would have to change the mindset of consumerism. You would have to change the lazy ass fuckery that we live in, that I can participate in myself, of the instant gratification culture that I can go and buy some shit that's just packaged in some shit and it would be totally fresh because the packaging that it's in will never deteriorate in my lifetime. And so therefore it's going to keep contaminants away. So yeah, great for me, but now we keep doing shit like that times a billion, times every single person out there. And of course I live in the West, and so therefore I, just by my nature of living, am already producing more than most people on the earth. I'm trying to like mitigate that, but even when I do, it's still more than somebody in like the Sudan. Whatever. I mean, there's people out there that could give a fuck. Like, they would purposely waste shit just to prove a point. I mean, that's how fucking privileged some of these people are. And how much they would waste resources on the earth. That's why we can't have nice things. That's why we're no better than a fucking fungus. We're no better. So whatever great accomplishments that you do in your life, unless your kid is, or one of your progeny is able to twist what is the name of that fucking, there's a mental affliction, it's an infection. It starts with a W. Wataku, it's all ran together. Start typing some W shit. W-E, I think. T. Yeah, I don't know. Hit. Yeah, let's see what it comes with. Oh, no, that's not. Oh, God. No. I don't know. How can we look this up? Anyway, it's a Indian word, like a Native American word, Native American word. Why would I say that? Or maybe it is, oh shit, I don't even remember now. Where did it come from? It might have had origins someplace. I don't know. Wataku, I think it's what, dang it, I can't remember. Yeah, just try that out. Oh, infection, maybe. Or they take the R out of there. Anyway, it's this notion, it's like this infection. Just one T. You just hit enter and see what happens. Where is it? Man. Dang it, I can't remember what it's called. I wouldn't mind getting that. Maybe WET. Just trying to. Oh, now you double M. Anyway, so you would have to change it. Like that's the thing is like whatever money you get, whatever accomplishments. I mean, basically the world. I mean, there's a subset of the species that has tremendous wealth and resource, and instead of fixing the world, they've opted to invest what they can in leaving the earth and having their bloodline leave the earth because the human virus is going to take over the earth. And I don't disagree that it might happen, because I think the people that rise to the top don't really care, and the people below are too easy to be tricked. They're too easy. It's too easy to trick them. It's just too easy. And see, it's not a real disorder. It's a spiritual thing. It's like a that's the thing about it. It's not a real, it's a, dang it, I can't remember what it's called. But you know, it's a madness. It's a craziness, because humans are so easily manipulated. I'm not saying I'm not manipulated the same way that everyone else is manipulated. I'm just saying that the abilities of the sophisticated folks that know how to market, that know how to manipulate you using, in a lot of times, your nature, the human, the remnants of the natural animal that we are, that we continually try to escape. The fact that we poop and we have to piss and we fuck and have excretions and we stink after a while if we don't bathe and shit like that. We try to escape that as much as we can, but we can't escape it. And we at the end of the day, we still are natural beings, whatever that means, to the extent of that what it is. And so there's a part of us that's nature, and there's a part of us that we have control of, that we can break free of nature from, or if we want to.
Tell me that is human nature.
Yeah. And really, how do we define that? I had this really long discussion with this pastor recently. I was sitting at a flea market trying to sell one of my bicycles. Dude kept talking to me, and he kept trying to tell me what human nature was, and I was like, how do you know what human nature is? And he wanted to quote scripture. I'm like, look, that's neat and all, but I don't really care about what's in your book, because I know he has conviction. I know people out there listening might have their conviction, but look, how do you know I'm not convicted in my non-conviction? How do you know that by you quoting anything in the Bible, Luke, this, that, Matthew, this, that, Genesis, blah, blah, that you could be quoting Hindu scriptures. You could be quoting the Quran, as far as I'm concerned. If you were to have to listen to somebody's quote out of some kind of Shinto edicts of that guide their faith. If you're a Christian, should you take that to heart? Should you pay it mind in your Christian faith? Okay, so why should I pay mind in your Christian faith if I'm not of any faith? I don't want to listen to this book. Just because your book says people are evil, just because your book says people are this way and that way, I don't care. It says a lot of shit. It says it got talking snakes and burning bushes that talk, and it has spirits and shit that tell people to kill their sons to prove they love them. Like, I don't give a fuck what's in that book. If that kind of shit's in that book, I don't care what's in that book. Look, okay, you can believe what's in that book. So he's trying to tell me what's happening with human nature. And I'm like, how do you know? Outside of that book, how do you know? Because my take on human nature is that we're naturally good. That most of us are good. There's a few people that are bad, and we have to watch out for them. But for the most part, the golden rule works because we're empathetic creatures. That's our nature. People might want to say, oh, well, we have gone away from nature or this and that. But I say our baseline default nature, our default nature is to be good to one another. So, I mean, he's coming up with different examples. And one of the examples he gives is, like, let's say my bicycle. He really liked my bicycle. He said, look, if you left that bicycle out in your yard, that thing's going to be gone. And I'm like, well, I didn't tell him, but I've left it out in my yard a bunch of times, unlocked in the middle of my driveway. And I knock on wood, no one's taken it. And because I have faith in my Mandarin community and the people that traverse through it. I could be proven wrong. Now, I do generally lock it up just in case. But when it's in my yard, I haven't had issues with things missing because I trust people. And also, it's shown to me now, not to say that stuff hasn't been stolen out of my car before. That's happened in my street and whatever. But when I've left stuff out in the broad daylight, people generally don't mess with it. And that's really brought to light something to me about people in general. And it's not just that one incident, but even looking at myself, that there's more than what a lot of people are going to tell you, even your pastors, even your teachers, even your parents, like that human nature really is at its core good. But we've also got a system around us that motivates people into desperation. Because if you can't pay the bills because the money you're getting for whatever occupation you're doing isn't enough, you might be desperate. And that might tempt you to steal a bike. That might tempt you to do something bad. Now, I'm not saying that you should do those bad things, okay? But I'm saying that without that pressure, would someone do something as bad, But then again, let's even move that out of the way, because he was going to say, look, if you're desperate and you steal a loaf of bread, or you do some crazy stuff because you're desperate and you got kids or whatever, there are times when you doing a bad thing, is not motivated by greed per se, whatever. There's a thin line there, of course. But okay, so let's discount all that. And so I was like, okay, let's talk about the bike in the lawn situation. I conceded to him. I said, look, I don't doubt that with enough time, that by the end of the day, perhaps, given the wherever we were or whatever location, I don't know, that the bike could be gone by the end of the day. Granted. Now, I had to ask him, though, when you walk by that bike, did you think about stealing it? That becomes the operative question. Did you think about stealing the bike for yourself? And he said yes. And I was like, okay, well, that speaks about you. You thought about yourself and what you could gain. I'll tell you what I think about a dude leaving his bike out. And he saw where I was going with this, and now he wanted to change his answer around. But I'm like, I'm thinking, dude better move his bike or it's going to be stolen. That does not involve me taking his bike. You see what I mean? That does not involve me taking into possession for something that is not mine so that it will become mine so that I could take advantage of that. That did not cross my mind. And I pointed out to him that he is now defining human nature based on the few people that would actually steal that bike and not by the hundreds of people all day walking by that bike that thought the same thing I did, which was, homeboy better move his bike because someone's going to steal that shit. But I never once thought about it in my possession. How many people would think that same thing and not think, man, I can boost that bike? They're thinking, better move that bike, someone's going to steal it. So my take on human nature is that what got us together, that made us defeat the lion in battle, that made us defeat the pack of wolves in battle, isn't our supple, soft skin and our ability to do a couple things with our thumbs, okay? It is the combined ability of our species to work together. And that is our nature. We are good by nature, and we are supplanting that by creating systems that cause us to thwart that ability or that. Because what money is it to nurture unless you're getting paid to do so? You see what I mean? What money is there to do the right thing in some cases? If there's no reward, that like you still get punished for not doing the right thing, or you know what I mean? If you do the wrong thing, you could still get rewarded. Put it that way. It's the system, and some people say, "Well, what's your answer?" Da da da. The answer is not like pudding or something. It's not like something you can just scoop it up and eat it. It's a culture. We have to foster culture. We have to have the conversation. We have to see where it is we want to be as a society. We need to see point B. We got to visualize where is point B so that we can make it there. There are people out there that visualize point B as a zero government, winner take all scenario where I own this, my brother owns this, this family owns this, and y'all got to pay us to do this and whatever shit. And that's just the market, yo. If you don't like it, yo, just make your own shit, yo. Right? And that's like, okay, that's one scenario. And then there's a caricature that they build to think, oh, well, you want a communist state or something. I'm like, no. Nobody said that. We can have a market. We just you can have cars that are made like better than other cars, and you can have a market. You can have clothes that are made better than other clothes, blah, blah, blah. It's when you manipulate labor, when you take advantage of people, that's when things get messed up. When you extract mass profit off people and don't share some of that profit because you say the market dictates that their worth is XYZ. And I would say the market actually dictates their worth is more than that. The structure of your company has dictated that you don't want to share with them. And you can say, well, you could buy into the as a employee buy stocks, but we know the disparity in income versus the ability to purchase is that wouldn't work. Plus, if you really think about it holistically, no financial advisor would tell you to invest that much money, especially if you don't have free income to invest. So it's just a conversation, but I guarantee some idiot is going to bring that up. And it's just and those kind of things piss me off. And that's why I don't like to get on deep Facebook shit. I just get pissed off and become mean and call people bad names or usually insult their intelligence. Because honestly, some people are just fucking stupid, though. That's just it. They're just stupid. I don't know how to define it. They're just stupid. They're just stupid. And stupid doesn't do effort, and stupid doesn't do research, and stupid lies. And I don't know. How do you stop stupid? Okay, so like, yeah, your life is no better than fungus, right? Until you can figure out how to stop stupid, number one, and stop consumerism and the craziness that is infecting the world. If you don't do those two things, I don't care how much money you fucking get, you're practically like, what if you judge yourself by the amount of money and success you get? What if a child porn fucking server operator motherfucker that just runs an international hub of fucking child porn, okay, and he made the same fucking money as you, okay? If your worth is based on your money, how much are you more worth than that, then, is my question. If you're basing your worth and your value to society on money, if there's an equal and opposite fucking child porn peddling fucking server operator motherfucker out there who's promulgating child porn around the world and he's making more money than you, who's more valuable to society? And tell me if that is a correct way to value your fucking standing in society. And, and I think a lot of things that are fucked up in society, we would all agree shouldn't be a certain way. And I think there's a conversation that gets stopped because people become some kind of party this or liberal or conservative or blah, blah, bullshit, because they don't want to have a real conversation because they're afraid of having that real conversation because it's neither one or the other. Like for instance, there's these folks on Facebook commenting about Flint, about whether or not, the fact that there's no capitalist solution to the fucking shit in Flint other than some charity shit, which isn't a solution. Anyway, so that's true. Okay, no capitalist solution. But at the same time, people are bringing up, this was a failure in government because look, the government was running the waterworks and they're the ones that made the decision to fuck it up. So really it's a government shit. And that's true. That's true. But the conversation gets derailed on who is at fault and who's got the solution and da. And really at the end of the day, it's the people's fault. Okay. Number one, it's a government fucking failure. It's the people's fault for letting the government fail. The government's supposed to be diligently, vigilantly watched. The power of the government should be watched. Therefore, we have liberty, right? The price of liberty is eternal vigilance. There was no vigilance. There still isn't enough vigilance, right? There are mechanisms fighting against vigilance over the government right now. This administration is creating some of those. Some of them were created under Obama. A lot of it was created under Bush after 9/11. So there's a lot of shit that's fucked up, okay? And we're all like siloed in this fucking left-right conservative liberal bullshit instead of really thinking about the people that are manipulating society. And now you're like, oh, that's conspiracy talk. Fuck, are you sure? Are you sure? Because it behooves them. It behooves them all to make you compliant in this scheme. Believe me, because anytime history has taken a turn is when people opted out of compliance with that scheme. And I urge my brothers and sisters to think about that. Think about the scheme and think about what your compliance means. And this ethos, this martyrdom that's out there, these people that will sacrifice massive amounts of their day, 60 hours a week, and fucking brag about it. And then like say they're doing it for their kids. And like, yo, wouldn't your kids rather have you around? Right? It's like this martyr going out to war, like this I'm doing it for my kids. And they don't get to see me because I'm out at battle just like I was a Roman soldier or something. Or something. I don't know what they're thinking. Right? And wouldn't you rather have a world where you could spend more time with your kids and not feel the pressure to not spend time with the kids? Or maybe you don't want to, I don't know. Maybe people don't want to spend time with the kids. I don't know. But they use their kids as a reason why they work so much. Maybe it's a lie. I don't know. But that kind of shit, they've been tricked into this idea that you should just work and sacrifice your life because that's like a noble thing to do. I don't get it. I don't get that mentality and how that's a generalized mentality across society. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. We produce more. Automation should be freeing up time for us to survive, not making our contributions worth less as they go. Really, I think we're facing a period of time that we really could possibly think about a massive shift in the economy and how that works, a massive shift in how society sort of works. And I think a massive shift in how our government works. Like, we almost are on the verge of needing a new way of running a nation, really. I think a lot of people would agree that the original Constitution was set up by a bunch of rich white dudes that owned land, and they were the only people that were allowed to make any decisions for a long period of time by design. So I think there might be a time where we really got to think about what it means to, number one, be an American and what kind of nation we're trying to make. Because you guys, you keep hearing stuff like, oh, we need electoral college because, the city people are going to vote different than the Midwestern people, and they don't understand what's more important for America, and and one thing I hear over and over again is about how city people are dependent on the government, and so they're going to vote for government dependency on the backs of the Midwestern and the country folks, the farmers and the supposed hard, the workers of society. They're now farmers, of course, are workers, but I mean, there's people working all around. There's people that are out there that are breaking their backs working. So to say that, number one, is arrogant. To say that the people outside of the cities are going to know more about the country and what needs to run, how it needs to run, etc. Number one. Number two, they're just as dependent. I mean, look at what happened with Trump recently. He fucked up the economy, and now he's dumping a big bailout plan for the farmers. The farmers get subsidies all the time. Different manufacturing jobs that are outside of the massive cities get subsidies all the time. So this is a ruse. This is a lie that's been given to make up. Sure, there's a bunch of government assistance that might be happening in the cities, but believe you me, there's government assistance that's happening to companies outside of the cities. So all this yin yang about one's gonna vote one way or another, that is bull fucking shit, bullshit. So they can fuck off, all those people that say shit like that. It's fucking bullshit. They take theirs in their own way. It's fucking bullshit. And so I don't really know about first of all, electoral college, way too easy to manipulate, way too easy to buy off. We need a new system that can't be manipulated by the rich people anymore. New system, period. 4-body system. You got the executive, you've got your your legislative, and you got your judicial, and then I think the fourth branch should be the people. A random selection of people that can check any of these motherfuckers, because sometimes they're corrupt, and we need it. We just simply need it. I'm sticking to it. Josh Moore It's the only one that put a comment on YouTube. So, I mean, I don't even know who's watching. Who's watching on YouTube? Put a comment on YouTube, and let's see who's still with us. Got one person watching. What beats we got, TJ? Who is it? Josh Moore. I don't think he's still watching with us. Is he? Josh, you still there? But yeah, I mean, I think if you're watching us on the archive, because there's only one person live, but if you are watching us on the archive, put a comment in there. I do try to go back and see what we've got. Audio versions of this show should be forthcoming soon. Oh shit. Got a beat. This might be tricky for yourselves. Maybe not. Alright, let's see. Yeah. Turn up the beat. Okay. Alright. Let's see if we can bust a freestyle real quick on the boy. Yeah, sitting in the Shack studio, busting on this freestyle. Yo, I'm trying to do it real cool, yo. It's a little bit tricky with the audio. There's a little break, and it's really distracting because there's a delay. Oh man, I don't know if I can keep it going today. Oh shit, it's too hard. You hear that? It's too hard with the delay. Yeah, figure it out. Alright, we're gonna have to figure out some. I knew it. Gotta find a way to cancel out. Maybe I gotta shut it out. Do you think you could do that?
It was amazing. Really? You were amazed?
Freestyle.
You were amazed by a basket of chicken wings? Really? Amazing. What are you gonna do with the rest of your life?
Feedback from the mic in my ear. I don't like hearing rap.
Yeah, but how can we do it? How can we freestyle? I'm gonna have to work on the audio. This is a Sephiroth beat, by the way. Let's see. I gotta be still at the mic. I'm just gonna have to learn how to freestyle with the lyrics. Yeah. Wait. It's my voice. Oh, but it's late on the beat. The words that are heard through YouTube, I think, are going to be late on the beat. I like that. Wait, try rapping. I want to listen to it. You'll see what I mean. Yeah.
This is just jazz.
It was amazing. Really? You were amazed?
Try it again.
You were amazed by a basket of chicken wings? Really? Amazing. What are you gonna do with the rest of your life?
Here, switch up the beat. Here, try it. I couldn't hear you. I couldn't hear you rapping on the mic. I don't think
She was danger, danger when you're high. Danger when you're high. Danger, danger when you're high.
Oh, right now. Yeah. All right. That's right. Okay. Yo, I'm trying to freestyle with the latency. I don't know what I'm doing, yo. It's too hard. Yeah, it's too hard.
You look up loud enough?
Oh yeah. You can turn it down, bro. Glass. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna have to work that out.
Yeah.
It's gotta be a way. I don't know. All right, I think it's because I'm running. It's because I'm running the microphone through the mixer, and the music is coming straight off of. It's coming straight off the computer. That's why I would have to run. Yes, I don't know freestyles anymore. But you can hear the Seth Rock beats beat in the background. Dope beats. That's why if you are normally tuning in on Facebook Live, you should definitely tune in on the YouTube channel. What's been on your mind, TJ? Anything cool?
Nah, just, adjusting to the new situation. I ran into our old GM yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Out and about town.
Yeah, I was on that side of town and I was walking, because we were playing Pokemon walking around. And yeah, him and the guy that's from where I'm from, they kind of ran into him.
Huh.
Yeah. He's like, what are you doing, man? Are you going to come back? Like, I don't want you back. He's like, yeah, we're going to need a lockout. Start out as the details down, bro. I'm like, how much you going to pay? Until they call him.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to call him tomorrow just to see what he's going to say.
I don't know, man.
Oh, you working?
And they might be watching, though. Hopefully, they'll be watching. Watch my show. So remember to like, share, subscribe to the boy. We're going to be having more shows, of course, hopefully here. Wednesday. Missed out on last Sunday session. We'll see. Probably going to do one next Sunday. We'll see. All right. Anything to add, TJ?
I got nothing.
All right.
I got nothing.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Boy. Put some comments down so we can talk about it next week. And, we out
She was danger, danger when you're high. Danger when you're high. Danger, danger when you're high.
I wanted to come back as soon as I left.